Hello, everybody. How's it going? How are you? I hope doing fantastic. I just wanted to come on and I figured why not? Let's do some summer solstice readings since we are right there, like right there. And also, just to let you know, I will be at Mystic South in Georgia next month. And I really am hoping to see you. And also that my book, Manifesting by the Moon, A Lunar Guide to Magic, is now available for pre-order. So go ahead and do that. And also too, I'm really excited to be able to share who is doing the forward as soon as that's all sorted out. So hopefully soon. Anyway, what else is going on? So I am going to be using Stardust Wanderer Tarot today. This is the first indie edition. The second edition is going to be coming out with US Games. I don't have an exact date for that yet. I know they're working on it, so hopefully sometime soon. We'll see. And then also to make sure to grab my Enchanted Forest Felines Tarot, and that is already available at all the places. So now that we got all the housekeeping out of the way, let's see. Let's read some cards. Why not? Let's read some cards. So at Mystic South, I'm going to be talking about self-care in your moon sign. And I'm really excited to be doing that. Obviously, you know, I like doing moon stuff, obviously. That sounded really just, yeah, never mind. Moving on. Let's see. I am hoping to also start to getting doing some more lives and stuff at some point. It's just been kind of nutty, so I figured this is better than nothing, right? I think so. We'll get there. Anyway, Aries, what do we have for you? So Aries, we have the Queen of Chalices. So for the Queen of Chalices, you know, it's all about nurturing energy. And I feel like for you, Aries, right now, you're just like used to blasting through stuff like, let's do this, let's do that, boom, boom, boom. I feel like it's just taking a moment, being in your feels for a little bit, and you have a lot of nurturing energy, and it's just a matter of taking a minute to slow down so that you can distribute that in the way it should be. Let's see. All right, Aries. Next, we have Taurus. So these are all in relation to the summer solstice and moving into that bright summery energy and just all of that good stuff. So that's just something to keep in mind as we're moving along here. So we have Taurus and we have the Hierophant. So I feel like for you, Taurus, that it's about taking a step into your spiritual side. And maybe this is something that you have not been really giving much attention to. Maybe life has been lifing and you really haven't had time to give your spiritual side attention. And I feel like this is the card saying, okay, maybe it's time to do that. And that can also mean, you know, maybe there is somebody who believes in things that you believe in, or maybe it's something you want to learn about, and it's diving into that a little bit more, Taurus. So Gemini. All right, Geminis. We have the 5 of Coins. So really tapping into that giving energy. And for you, I believe it's that you are just very cerebral. You are in your head. You have so many things. You have, like I always say for Jay, is like he's got like a 10-lane highway in his head. And I'll be like, pick a lane. Tell me what's going on. So I feel like that's really what this is. I feel that there are people around you that can really use your guidance right now, that they are just in the doom spiral of all doom spirals, glass gates of emotion, all the things. But I think it's time for you to just maybe give them a little nudge like, hey, I see this is going on. I see you're struggling. Let's talk about it. And you know, Gemini is the one if you want to talk it out. And I mean that in the most loving way possible, of course. So for Cancers, as we're moving right into Cancer, excuse me, Cancer energy. I just recorded a class before this, so okay, hydrated. We have the Four of Chalices for you, Cancer. And I feel like as we're moving into your season, it's time for you to get up, get out in the world, move around, see what's going on. If you are in that meh energy, what can you do to get out of it? And sometimes that is calling on reinforcements. I mean, hey, maybe there's a Gemini around for you. Maybe that's what you need. So, Cancer, it's time to like get moving. And I feel like even just physical movement too is good for you. All right, Leos. So for Leos, we have the Two of Coins and balance. I think right now for you in this season, it's all about balance. And you have a big heart. You are just ready to take care of all the people all the time. And sometimes that can mean that you aren't taking full care of yourself, or things in your life are becoming unbalanced because of there's a lot of yes happening. So be mindful of that and be mindful of your own balance. And knowing that when you're in balance, you can help others more effectively. All right, Virgo. All right, Virgos, we have the Queen of Coins. Virgo, it's time for you to go ahead and claim your bounty. Like that's the phrase that literally just jumped in my head. Claim your bounty. You have laid out the plans. You have taken the actions. You have just done things that you needed to do. Now it's time for you to harvest that and to enjoy it. And if you feel like it, you can share with others. But make sure you are doing what you want to do first. All right, Libra. All right. But first, I was sitting on my leg and it so fell asleep right now. So watch me suffer for a minute. Pins and needles, all the things. Okay, Libra, back to Libra. So Libra is the Lover's card. Libra, it's really right now, it's time for you to harness those relationships around you, harness the relationship with yourself, and focus that sunny summer solstice energy on love. This is the summer of love, Libra. I just like to say that. I think that sounds good. We're here for it. Why not? So that brings us to our Scorpios. All right, Scorpios. And I laugh, and you can laugh at me because my leg is like pins and needles right now. So Scorpio, you can enjoy that. But it's time for you to move energy. And I mean move energy as far as your way of thinking. You have kind of whipped yourself up into this space, and a lot of what you're thinking or what you think others are thinking is not true. And you kind of just create this narrative in your head of how it is, but it's not how it is. And I'm saying that again in the most loving way possible. And don't be insulted by that. But I think it's time for you to maybe, if those people are involved that in the situation, in this narrative that you whipped up, maybe talking to them and asking them how they feel and not trying to kind of dictate how the situation is going. So you can do it. You need to kind of get out of that headspace right now, Scorpios. All right. And then that brings us to our Sagittarius friends. All right, Sagittarius, we have the Page of Coins. Sag, it's time to do the things. Like, I feel like if you've been trying to complete a goal, or you're trying to plan your next trip, and there's just been little things along the way that haven't been going right. So it's kind of making you question, like, should I be doing this? I feel like this is your card that says, yeah, you should be doing it. Keep going, keep doing the things, keep moving forward, because you will be successful. All right. Capricorn. we have the Queen of Swords. So Capricorn, right now, it's really important that you use your words very mindfully because a lot is kind of riding on them and situations can change, evolve very quickly by the words you use. So being mindful of that. And, even the butterflies in there, we know butterflies mean change. We have the sword, we have, words, we have thoughts, actions. Things can change very quickly. And I think it really depends on how you are wording what your wants and needs, basically. That's something to keep in mind. All right, Aquarius. So for Aquarius, we have the Tower. And Aquarius, this is something I feel like that has been kind of skirting along. There's been a couple near misses, but the change is inevitable. And I feel like this summer is going to be a really big summer of change for you, but not necessarily in a scary way, in a necessary way. And I think taking the change with grace and being open to new ideas and new, just the evolution of a situation is really, really important for you. And it's, it necessarily isn't always super easy, but again, it's necessary. So take this Tower moment with grace. And that brings us to Pisces. All right, Pisces, what do we got? Pisces, we have the Four of Oars. All right, Pisces, it's all coming together for you. And I do feel like that it's all coming together. The base is secure. Things are going to go as planned. But I also think you need to really just pay attention to what you left aside as you created this base for the summer, as of right now for this summer. I feel that you did a good job in what you were doing, but I feel like you may have missed the mark a little bit, and there might be a couple loose ends you still need to tie up. And also keep in mind that feelings may have been hurt. And while that's okay, just keep an eye on that. Pay attention to it because it may pop up again. So this is a great card, of course, but it's really funny because when you're reading and when you're using different cards and different art and all of those things, and with Stardust Wanderer Tower, I wanted to make sure that there were a lot of little details to pick up on intuitively, right? So this card, while I said it's great, like I'm kind of picking up this like red flag. Like, yeah, it's all great and wonderful right now, but there is something that you might have missed. And I do feel like it might even been your fault. I'm just saying. Just keep an open mind, right? Keep an open mind. It's totally fine. All right, so then I am going to just go ahead and pull a card for the collective, for all of us, just to keep in mind as we move into this new season. So I have the Knight of Swords. Very interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, all right. So with the Knight of Swords moving into the summer solstice, I feel like this is a card about friendship, togetherness, watching out for each other's backs, and doing it in a way that is productive and helpful, and really keeping in mind that everybody has something going on. And they may not have told you. You may not know their story, and you may be questioning why is this one saying this? Why is that one doing that? Remember, everybody's got something going on, and being very mindful of that and asking questions and asking the right questions. And even if you don't like the answers, not getting upset about, letting your initial reaction take over. So I think that's really important. And I think when it comes down to, we all just have to watch each other's backs and we have to be there for each other. And I think being kind is very important. So that's what I'm going with. That's what we're going with. Anyway, pre-order my book. I'd really appreciate it. And I hope that you have a wonderful summer solstice. I hope you get outside and you burn a fire and you can, run around naked in spaces that you're supposed to. And if you are at Mystic South, make sure you come and say hello. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.